Pick your most bracing defense of freedom from the Trump administration. Here is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, lecturing Europe for having the arrogance to judge hateful content and the fragility to fear speech by foreigners. There is Elon Musk, punning on Nazi names to mock people so prudish as to take offense at his straight-armed salutes. Or, most radical, there is President Donald Trump himself, proclaiming he was erasing a grave national injustice by pardoning people who protested against his defeat in 2020 by storming the Capitol while chanting racist slurs and calling for Mike Pence, then vice president, to be hanged. Pretty strong stuff. But maybe Mr. Trump believes that only through such tough stands could he have, quote, stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America, as he put it in his address to Congress on March 4th. Yet, how to square such extremism in defense of liberty with the administration's attempt to deport a student who helped lead campus protests against Israel and the war in Gaza? By now you've probably heard the story, how Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, revoked the green card of Mahmoud Khalil, who recently completed a graduate degree at Columbia University, without a hearing or even his knowledge. How Mr. Khalil, who has apparently not been charged with a crime, was then handcuffed on March 8th on returning home from dinner with his wife, an American citizen who is 8 months pregnant, and bundled off to a detention center in Louisiana. How a New York judge ordered him held there pending further proceedings. It's all pretty stunning. It may also prove to be legal, even if the Trump administration never establishes Mr. Khalil protested in ways unprotected by the First Amendment or otherwise broke the law. And that would be the most alarming development of all, for what it would show about how much power a president has to constrain speech. Since the Red Scare in the 1950s, American presidents have not tried to use their authority this way, lending at least implicit support to a consensus in favor of a permissive standard for protest and for speech in general. But Mr. Trump is invoking tremendous authority over what speech is acceptable. To make matters worse, the standards he is setting are vague, leaving it to each potential future protester to guess what words might bring down the hammer of the state. On Truth Social, Mr. Trump called Mr. Khalil a radical foreign pro-Hamas student and added, "This is the first arrest of many to come, of students, quote, who have engaged in pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, anti-American activity." The administration has yet to describe at what point Mr. Khalil crossed those lines or where anyone else might. Deporting foreign-born protesters may seem like an America-first speech policy, but this has the hallmarks of being Trump-first. It is one of several steps by Mr. Trump that seem likely to serve his politics by constraining freedoms of speech and association on campus and off, for aliens and citizens. He has threatened to punish universities that permit, quote, illegal protest, leaving it to them to guess what he means. His administration canceled $400 million in grants to Columbia, saying it had not done enough to protect Jewish students. The administration said it would scrutinize 9 more schools for anti-Semitism, leaving mysterious the standards by which they would be judged, or even why they were chosen. On March 6th, Mr. Trump signed an order directing federal agencies to strip contracts and security clearances from Perkins Coie LLP, a law firm, accusing it of dishonest and dangerous activity. The order cited past legal work on causes associated with Democrats. That followed a narrower action against another firm, and Mr. Trump warned he would be going after others. The crackdown is scaring big firms away from joining in litigation against the administration, according to the Wall Street Journal. On March 7th, Mr. Trump signed an executive order to narrow the definition of public service under which some workers may have federal student debt forgiven. Mr. Trump forbade relief to workers at activist organizations that, for example, engage, quote, in a pattern of aiding and abetting illegal discrimination. That appears to be code for having a diversity, equity, and inclusion program. Mr. Trump may have good arguments against these organizations, as well as against universities that indulged anti-Semitism and rancid anti-Israel protest while tightly policing other bigotry and speech. But he is not making arguments. He is using his office to diminish perceived ideological opponents and redraw the boundaries of American debate. Popular support for free speech has been eroding, to judge by a forthcoming study from The Future of Free Speech, a think tank. Since the previous survey, in 2021, America had the third largest decline in support for free speech among 33 countries, behind only Japan and Israel. America ranks 9th after some of the European countries Mr. Vance criticized. Jacob Mchangama, the executive director of the think tank, fears that even if the Supreme Court eventually upholds America's present standards for speech, the culture that has supported it may change as self-censorship takes hold. Many people, he says, will think it's not, quote, a great idea to be on the receiving end of the ire of a president who is not above using the law to go after his enemies, real or perceived. For his part, Mr. Musk, secure in his billions, his federal office, and his ownership of X, luxuriates in the right to speech. On March 10th, he called Senator Mark Kelly, a former Navy pilot and astronaut, a traitor for visiting Ukraine and daring to express support for it. How many Americans would level such an accusation at this president without fear?